What's up, guys? It's your boy, Barca Boy 103. Today we're going to be reacting to the Barcelona news. Over the past few weeks, we played so many games. It's been a hot minute since I've done a news video, but we are back now with it, and we have so much to discuss. We're going to be talking about, of course, all possible forward signings. Rashford this January, Rafael as a potential left winger now off the table, Alexander Isak and Šeško, the new striker options with Holland extending his new deal. We'll discuss all that. Also, a huge update on Lionel Messi potentially signing with Barcelona at some point this year in 2025. Massive developments on that, and the return of Lionel Messi as a player is back on the table. We will discuss that. Of course, big rumors around sales, mainly around Ansu, Fati and Garcia, both heavily linked with moves away of Barcelona this month. The question is, will it happen or not? And finally, some big contract renewal updates as well around the likes of Araujo, Pedri, Gavi, and even Frenkie de Jong as well. But before we get into it, make sure you guys smash that like button down below. Let's try and get the 200 likes on this video. It would be very much appreciated. Also, if you are new, make sure you subscribe down below if you haven't already, and let's get into it. Now, before we get into this video is sponsored by Number One Foot. Number One Foot is by far the best replica jersey website on the market, and it's not even close. They have a variety of different items at the absolute best prices. They sent me 2 kits recently. First one is the retro Barcelona kit, the home kit, which I'm currently wearing right now, and also as well the second kit for that season in the blue edition. Oh my god, like, the stitching is fantastic, the quality is, superb. Feels like I have the actual, original kit for a fraction of the price. And if you use the discount code BOY at checkout, you do get 10% off your order. That's BOY. Use it at checkout, and all orders above $80 as well will receive free shipping. So what are you waiting for? Hit the top link in the description down below and get your new football kits today. Let's start off with the transfer news over the past few weeks, and the first topic we're going to discuss here is Barcelona's pursuit for a left winger for the immediate and the foreseeable future. Now, Fernando Polo of Mundo Deportivo came out saying that Barcelona's goal is to sign a top left forward who preferably plays on the left and can also score goals. Alexander Isak, Rafael Leao, and Luis Diaz are all top targets on the club's radar. However, all 3 players are currently competing for trophies, making a January transfer very difficult. Rashford is considered a backup plan as the other forwards are preferred. While Barcelona recognizes his quality, they believe he hasn't performed at a high level recently, although they remember his strong performances in previous years. And Barcelona have not made any moves yet because they are unsure how much FFP space they do have and how much they can spend in this transfer window. They can generate enough financial fair play space through sales, then they will aim high. Joan Laporta prefers to target top players and will push for major signings if the opportunity arises. Now, I don't know how the hell they've classified Alexander Isak as a left winger in this report. I mean, yes, he can play on the wing, but he's more of a natural striker. But again, quite clear that Barcelona are definitely pursuing a left winger as the main signing for this summer. We might get Rashford this month. If we do, he'll be a quick stopgap, and if he does well, maybe he'll be in contention for a potential move in the summer. We'll talk about Rashford later on, but on these other players that we did mention here, Fernando Polo also mentioned that Barcelona views Alexander Isak as a preferred choice ahead of other options like Victor Gyökeres. He's being considered as a potential signing for the winter, if not possible for the summer, as the club looks for a successor for the 36-year-old Robert Lewandowski. Now, of course, Holland has signed a fucking decade contract with Man City, so that move now for 2026 looking very unlikely, as Holland wants to stay there till at least 2029. Apparently, the release clause will come back around that time. So we might go Holland in the future, but we need someone right now, and it looks like Alexander Isak is now the new number 1 target. Alberto Sanz as well from Candacer came out saying that Benjamin Šeško is on the Barcelona's radar as well, alongside Alexander Isak. So it looks like Alexander Isak now will be, I think, Barcelona's target for 2026, although there are a lot of other clubs in the world of football interested in him. We know a lot of Premier League clubs are keeping an eye on him since he's doing so well in that league, but I think it'll be very difficult to get him out of Newcastle this upcoming summer. But next summer, I think it'll be a free-for-all, and of course then Barcelona will be able to put their foot in the race. Now, in regards to an actual natural left winger, of course, it's more so for strikers. We have a report here from Tony Juan Martí about Rafael Leao, and he came out saying that although Barcelona do like Rafael Leao, his signing isn't unanimously supported within the club's sporting department, as there are concerns about whether he's the right fit, particularly due to his limited defensive work rate. However, President Laporta is a strong admirer, so the possibility of his arrival still cannot be ruled out. So no general consensus around Rafael Leao in the sporting sector. Only Joan Laporta is like the real big fan of him. Again, Laporta needs to know his place. He's not supposed to be, talent management. He's just supposed to sign the thing, give the money. That's all he's supposed to do. So we'll wait and see what happens in regards to this left winger. It's looking like right now, Rafael Leao, Luis Diaz, and Nico Williams are the top three. And also in regards to a striker reinforcement, of course, in the future, not probably this summer or the following summer. We're looking right now at Alexander Isak being the number one option following Erling Haaland's new contract with Manchester City. Now, as already mentioned, a player that Barcelona are keeping an eye on for this winter transfer window is Marcus Rashford. Fernando Polo did also come out saying that Joan Laporta would like to sign a striker this month, and the only one we have been linked with is Marcus Rashford. The news actually broke initially from Tony Martin saying that Barcelona have joined the race to sign now Marcus Rashford, and they would need to, of course, generate some fair play space in order to sign him. Mateo Merito also confirmed that there are, of course, some contacts between Barcelona and Rashford's camp. Nothing, of course, fully formal as of right now. But the latest report we do have is also from Tony Martin saying that Marcus Rashford's situation remains stagnated, with the player waiting for developments. While he is interested in joining Barcelona, other students have also not made any progress, buying Barcelona some time to meet the necessary FFP requirements. However, the club still needs to accelerate the departure of one player to make room for Rashford. We will talk about player departures that can make room for Rashford in the departure section, but if we're gonna make a signing this summer, this winter, should I say, sorry, the only one will be Rashford. Again, we can use another, attacking reinforcement. Also, Fati's not really doing that much. Ferran Torres is injured every week, coming off the bench. He's not really, providing that much for Barcelona, even though he has scored some goals recently. So Rashford would be that extra, threat down the left, in the middle as well, to maybe rest Lewandowski instead of always doing the false nine with Dani Olmo. So the options there, on loan, covering half his salary. Little to no risk there. Of course, we can maybe get another Aubameyang, Luke De Jong, Adama Traore, Dani Alves story. Of course, we've been very successful with these short-term loans over the past few years. So wait and see what happens with Rashford. If we get him, cool. If we don't, also cool. I'm not really two-faced about that. But again, the club are pursuing him, but need exits first to happen this month. Now, another player that Barcelona are looking out for maybe for the future at some point is Joshua Kimmich, who of course will be a free agent come June. Now, Sky Germany have come out saying that Joshua Kimmich has received his contract renewal offer from Bayern Munich, but has not responded to it yet. He's now waiting for offers from Premier League clubs or Barcelona before making a final decision. He will speak in the media about now being 6 months left in his contract, and he said that I spoke to the club, I won't put too much pressure on myself, but of course there has to be a decision to be made in the coming months. Of course, there are good reasons to extend, and I have to consider all and make my decision. So again, leaving his future there a bit open. Again, with Barcelona, the only way we're going to sign him is if someone leaves, i.e. Frenkie de Jong. So I think his future is very much linked with that. And again, he is German. We are going for, of course, Jonathan Tah, Flick's German as well. So there's definitely something there. I think only way he comes in, of course, if someone big in the midfield leaves. So we'll wait and see on that. The interest is definitely there, but nothing really concrete as of right now. Now, a player that Barcelona could sign at the beginning of next year, so next winter transfer window, is your boy, the greatest human being to ever touch a football, Lionel Andres Messi. Now, Marca are reporting that Inter Miami wants to, of course, renew the contract of Leo Messi with the option that allows him to play in Europe again during the last months of 2025 and to the beginning of 2026 in order to maintain his physical fitness, of course, ahead of the World Cup. This is the reason for that. Now, and Messi's coming back to Europe. He's only going back to one place, and that's Barcelona. And of course, 2025, by that point, we'll be back at the Camp Nou. The Messi send-off, the Messi, appreciation tour can definitely be on track for that. So I would definitely, if this clause is true, definitely keep your eyes on this, because what other club in Europe is Messi going to go to if it's not Barcelona? I mean, let's be honest. Again, will Messi fit in this team? No, but coming in for 2 months just for vibes on the bench, coming on in games, whatever the case may be, we of course will take that every single day of the week. So if this clause is true, we actually might get the return of Leo Messi as a player for Football Club Barcelona. If not, if this clause is just not true whatsoever, then it is what it is. But it doesn't make sense, of course, since the MLS season ends in 2025 at the end of it. It doesn't start up until about February, March time. It's going to be that 3-month period, of course, ahead of the World Cup in June, where Messi does want to, of course, stay fit. So we'll see what happens. If this clause is true, this Barcelona return can definitely pick up. If this clause is not true, then of course a return for him is very unlikely. Let's now discuss the players that have been rumored to leave Barcelona over the past few weeks. Of course, the two main candidates to potentially leave this winter transfer window are Ansu Fati and Eric Garcia. We do have an update on both their futures. Firstly, on Ansu, 24 Martin came out saying that Ansu Fati is resisting to leave Barcelona during the winter transfer window. However, signals from the club, coaching staff, and even parts of his own circle are putting increased pressure on him to reconsider his decision to stay under Flick, who does not count on him. Again, quite clear, he's been left out of the last 4 squad list. he ain't getting any chances soon. Everyone around him is trying to convince him to leave, while Ansu himself is very adamant that he wants to continue and earn his place back. Now, Renewal have come out saying that Barcelona will not sell Ansu Fati to Sevilla, and if Real Betis want him, the situation could be different. Of course, Betis now don't want him. They just signed Anthony from Manchester United on loan, and again, Ansu Fati apparently does not want to leave on loan according to Renewal. Miguel came out saying that Ansu Fati is not in Hansi Flick's plans. It looks like he has no plans for him in his team and does not even count on him due to the coach's confidence. He's experiencing his worst moment, which of course is very, very evident. Now, Mateo Morito from Renewal has come out saying that Barcelona are pushing Ansu Fati to leave for two reasons. One, to help him get the playing time and experience that he won't find at Barcelona, and two, to make room for Rashford. However, Fati is proving very difficult due to his high salary, and he has prioritized staying at the club. Again, Ansu Fati is around 150 to 170,000 euros per week, which is quite a hefty wage, and again, he's not playing, so the club want to get rid of him, give that wage pretty much to Marcus Rashford, and he can come in, of course, and have maybe different impact playing some games. Of course, it's better than staying at home watching the games from the stands. Now, there's a bit of a different situation with Eric Garcia. Sport have come out saying that Eric Garcia's departure has been halted because Barcelona don't want to lose too many defenders in the month of January. Of course, with Araujo not really fully renewed quite yet. The player himself prefers to decide his future in the summer and finish the season with Barcelona. Miguel Rico came out saying that Barcelona believes that Eric Garcia has developed a lot as a player, and he looks set to stay. And Hansi Flick was very happy with his performances in the midfield and in the pivot. Now, the only team that's really twerking for him a lot is, of course, Girona. And this one, director of Girona came out in the media, came out saying that our intention is to try to sign Eric Garcia this month, but it will of course depend on Barcelona and the conditions that are realistic for us and that we can do. So Girona have made it very clear in the media. Even Michel, the Girona coach, has been speaking in press conference about Eric Garcia. They made it very clear that they want to, and they're open to signing Eric Garcia this month. Really, it comes down to Barcelona and the player himself. Now, Fernando Martinez did also mention that Como, that's of course coached by former Barcelona player Cesc Fabregas, are considering the signings of both Ansu Fati and Eric Garcia, whether they be on loan or permanent for either of the two. That remains to be seen. But again, one of these two will have to leave for Marcus Rashford to come in. I think, of course, the obvious answer is to get rid of Ansu Fati. I would not get rid of Eric Garcia. You have, of course, Christensen, that's very injury prone. We have really no option in the pivot. We don't really want to rely on De Jong too much for it being that single ball winning pivot. Of course, Eric Garcia does a much better job on that part of a DM role than Frenkie de Jong does. But of course, if the offers come in that are good, I wouldn't mind it whatsoever. But I feel like one of these two will leave to make room for Marcus Rashford, probably last second, January 30th or 31st. And the most logical answer is, of course, Ansu Fati. I think loaning him out to a La Liga club, though, will be difficult with all this, court case happening in Barcelona. Not like in those clubs, hurting down on Barcelona's court case. I don't think Barcelona will do them a favor and give them Ansu Fati per se. But of course, Ansu Fati himself has to be willing to leave, where he's very adamant right now that he wants to continue. If we say the same, I won't be bothered either. That's exactly what I thought would happen, exactly what I predicted. Not trying to be, right or anything. If I was to make a move, I would move on Ansu, bring in Rashford, since Ansu's not doing anything to this team. Every time he gets a chance, he's out injured, so very, very unreliable. Whereas Rashford, I mean, yes, he's probably the most overrated player I've seen in my life, but at least he can come in and do something off the bench better than Ansu Fati not being in the squad whatsoever. So wait and see what happens. If someone is going to leave Barcelona this month, it will be Ansu Fati and or Eric Garcia, and if someone's going to come in to replace them, it will be Marcus Rashford in the attack. Now, another player that Barcelona can get rid of very, very soon is Clement Lenglet. More strong reports about Atletico Madrid being very keen on buying Clement Lenglet on a permanent basis. There are reports coming in from the Madrid media saying that Atletico Madrid are close to finalizing the signing of Clement Lenglet from Barcelona in January. Sources close to the deal so there's only a minor details left to discuss. The plans to secure him in this transfer window, and everything is ready. He was also asked Lenglet in the media about staying at Atletico Madrid. He said, you know what, you have to ask the directors of both clubs, Atletico and Barcelona. For now, I don't know anything. I'm just focusing on the competition, on doing well, and then the best option will be chosen. Again, if we get rid of him now, the summer, I'll take it. If we can finesse a transfer fee, that's even better. I would still, I know Lenglet's doing very well for Atletico lately. He's a starter for them. I would still give him away for free. That is how poor, that is how distraughtful, this is how much of a big problem he is. I would let him go for free, but the club can finesse a transfer fee, some sort of compensation, percent of future sale, sell on clause. I will absolutely take it. So it looks like we have a bit of confidence and a bit of momentum on the side here for Lenglet this time. Looks like it's a bit different towards Aston Villa and Spurs the last two times, but hopefully we can get rid of him this summer on a permanent basis. Another player that will be leaving Barcelona again, you could say, in January is Alex Valle. Now, of course, he was out on loan at Celtic. He's been playing well when he does play, but hasn't been getting too many minutes. And now he looks like to be switching clubs in the middle of the season. According to Fabrizio Romano, Como had made contact with Alex Valle as a new left back since Kieran Tierney's move back to Celtic is open. And that will, of course, lead Alex Valle to a new destination. Of course, Alex Valle right now is not even the starting left back at Celtic, so they're going to want to bring back Tierney. They're going to have him and Tierney, and Alex Valle will be the third option. Might as well leave. And now Como have come in and showed interest. And again, this deal is in the advanced stages. I don't know if I'll do a here we go video for it or not. I'll wait and see how I'm feeling when that announcement comes through. But again, he will return to Barcelona. Loan will be cancelled with Celtic, and he'll be loaned for the rest of the season, 6-month loan to Como to, of course, work under Cesar Regas in Serie A. This deal is all but done. I think it's a good move for Alex Valle. Again, he hasn't been playing too much with Celtic. Again, going with Fabregas into a team where they do need a left back. He will, of course, get more minutes, and that's all we really need. Very, very good talent. But wait to see what happens with his future at Barcelona. But his imminent future will be cancelling his loan in Scotland with Celtic and moving to Italy to work and play at Como with Fabregas. Now, a player that we have absolutely no idea what will happen with his future as of right now is, of course, Frenkie de Jong. According to Russian data from Mundo Deportivo, Saudi Arabia clubs are showing interest in both Rafinha and de Jong. Of course, Rafinha, they're going to get shut down. But with de Jong, you never know. That could be an option for the future. Now, Mikel Rico came out saying that El Etihad are interested in signing Frenkie de Jong. Of course, the sporting director is the former sporting director of Barcelona, Ramon Planes, and has already contacted the player's agent about the idea and what his demands would be. Don't think anything will materialize there, but hey, if we need an avenue, we of course will take it. Now, Tony Martin came out saying that Hansi Flick believes that Frenkie de Jong has enormous potential, and if he can regain motivation and rhythm, he will have a chance to fight for a spot in the starting 11. Meanwhile, his future remains unclear. Now, of course, Frenkie de Jong has been getting some good momentum recently. Played a good 90 minutes against Betis, came on 45 minutes against Getafe despite us not winning, had a very good cameo himself. This is now his chance to gain that confidence and momentum back to get into the starting 11. Do I believe he will displace Casado? I don't think so. I think Casado's all-around game in the pivot is much better than Frenkie de Jong, although Frenkie de Jong is better than Casado in some aspects. I think what Casado does overall does trump Frenkie, but again, there's so many games, injuries going to happen. Casado can't play week in, week out, neither can Frenkie as well, so having those players is going to be great. But again, Frenkie de Jong now is really picking up some momentum, so wait to see how he plays. Of course, how he plays will dictate his future, his renewal. It's quite clear that the club still want to keep him, but under certain conditions, of course. And Frenkie de Jong is just in there very, very quiet, not making anything known about his future. So we'll wait and see what happens. Again, all comes down to Frenkie de Jong's performances on the pitch, but right now his future is still unknown. Let's now discuss some contract renewal updates around the first team at Barcelona. First, we're going to be discussing the contract renewal of Ronald Araújo. We have, of course, a few updates since my confirmed video a few days ago about Araujo staying and committing his future to Barcelona. Now, Montijuic came out saying that the Barcelona sporting director Deco convinced Araujo to stay at the club by highlighting the opportunity to win titles, including the Champions League, La Liga, and Cup, and by also promising a salary increase, which is now possible since Barcelona are returning to the 1-1 rule, allowing for greater financial flexibility in the contract negotiation. Deco's also agreed to revise Araujo's release clause, making it more reasonable for him to leave in the future, and the player who's emotionally attached to the club agreed to stay, ending 2 weeks of speculation about his future, with the renewal expected to be formalized on paper soon. Tony Martin came out saying that Barcelona sporting director Deco and Araujo's agents have had made significant progress in renewing his contract recently, which of course expires in 2026, paving the way for a long-term extension to solidify his position as a key player under Flick, with the official announcement expected to be made at some point this week. Now, we do have some reasons on why Araujo changed his mind. Of course, Gerard Romero, keep in mind, is very close to the entourage of Araujo, and he came out saying that I think we've seen a lot of noise from Araujo's agent, especially from their Italy branch, so not really too much from the player side. It's true that Juventus was pushing to sign him and that Motta reached out to him, but I spoke with some Italian sources and they told me it's impossible for Juventus to pay 50 million right now in January to Barcelona. Many people were saying 50 million or is a small amount, but I'm not entirely sure if the amount is smaller for the player whose contract expires in a year and a half. That's just his opinion there. In recent days, Araujo has been quite hesitant. Maybe Inigo's injury played a role, or perhaps the support of his teammates and his combination with Flick in recent days, alongside the late night call with Deco around 10 p.m. helped him sort out his feelings. But in the end, he admitted that the best option was to stay. A real agreement has almost been reached for the contract renewal, and his agents are expected to arrive in the city at some point this week to finalize it. And of course, we've seen Araujo lift the Super Cup. He's the captain and he wants to continue that way. So again, bit of controversy in regards to what Juventus can pay, as I was saying on the channel over the course of this time, and that late night call, of course, with Deco ended up convincing him in the end. Now, Fabrizio Romano came out saying that Araújo's contract renewal with Barcelona is about to be finalized. The agreement was reached in principle earlier last week, and now it's verbally confirmed. All that remains is one more meeting to finalize all the details, and the deal is expected to be finalized this week, with Barcelona prepared to announce it officially. Now, in regards to the details of this contract, Ronald Araújo came out saying that along with the offering of him having a salary increase, Barcelona proposed to include a clause allowing Araujo to leave next summer, even after signing an extension, if he's unhappy with the coach Hansi Flick. One of the ideas is to include a condition where if Araujo does not play a certain number of games, his release clause, currently set of course at 1 billion, will be lowered to a more realistic amount. Now, how realistic are we talking here? Are we talking like 50, 60 million, or are we talking like 100, 150? That's where my question comes in. I understand it looks like Araujo is not really emotionally attached to Barcelona as other players are. If he wants to have this clause in there, I think that's completely understandable, especially if they're based on conditions that are not met. So him not getting minutes, titles, game time, whatever the case may be. If it's just on his vibe, that would be a bit annoying. But for me, this makes sense. I want to know the numbers though. Hopefully they're more realistic. For me personally, I would maybe do like 100, 130 million, somewhere around there, if he really wants to leave. That clause dropping from, of course, 1 billion enters the release clause. So he wants to have somewhat of a way out in the event that he wants to leave. So I think that's pretty respectable as long as the figures reflect that. So we'll see what happens. But again, Araujo renewal should be officially and announced at some point this week, as there is, of course, a verbal agreement met. The next contract renewal update is on the contract renewal of Pedri and Gavi, and this will of course follow the Araujo renewal, as these two players are also close to renewing their contracts with Barcelona. Fernando Martinez came out saying the club's priority is now to finalize the renewals of Pedri and Gavi, as the club has seen these two players as crucial players for the long term. For Pedri, his renewal is 95% done. He will extend for 5 more years. Only minor details and document exchanges remain. Gavi has been offered a contract on the same terms as Pedri. His renewal is progressing well, and Gavi and his agent have always shown their willingness to stay at Barcelona. So pretty much Gavi and Pedri will have very, very similar contracts in terms of wages, of course. I think Pedri probably should earn a bit more, since he is really an undisputed starter, where Gavi is competing with Dani Olmo, Fermin, Pablo Torre, and everyone else pretty much as that number 10. But again, both these two players staying is absolutely vital, absolutely crucial. In the end, the club will be getting it done. And the final contract renewal update is on the contract renewal of Barcelona B captain and star, you could say, Pau Prim. Now, the situation with Pau Prim was quite delicate. In the summer, of course, he did not take part in preseason due to him not renewing his contract. He was left out of the squad for quite some time. Then a breakthrough was made. He went back into the squad, started playing, and now he's out of the squad again. Jordi Gil came out saying that Pau Prim has been left out of the Barcelona Athletic previous squad list, as there is, of course, issues in regards to his contract renewal, and his contract, of course, expires this summer. Sport came out saying that Pau Prim's future at Barcelona is uncertain after he was not called up for the recent matches amidst stalled contract renewal negotiation. The situation is complex, involving the player, club, reserve team, and potential other teams trying to buy him, with Pau Prim's decision to leave or to stay depending on the sporting and economic factor. So again, now his future is back in limbo. It was in limbo, he wanted to stay, and now it's back in limbo again. I don't know what it is. I don't know what the details are. I think Pau Prim is a very, very good talent, but not a talent that I would bend over backwards for. I'll put it that way. So wait and see what happens in regards to his future, but again, very much in doubt at the moment, and probably more leaning on the side of leaving than he is staying. Let's now discuss some of the news starting Barcelona over the past few weeks. First of all, of course, we have some recent news that came out that I did, of course, mention in the live stream for the Getafe game, and that's Hansi Flick's decision to revamp the goalkeeping department's roles. He has now decided that Iñaki Peña will be playing all the La Liga matches, while Szczesny will be continuing in all the cup games, Champions League, and the Copa del Rey. I think that's an okay decision, an okay compromise, but I still wanted there to be, I'd rather it be on whoever's the best place, because I wanted that to be the kind of standard. Because if Iñaki Peña is doing dog crap in La Liga, I don't want to be like, oh, I can't bring in Szczesny because he's the cup keeper. We have not kept the clean sheet with Iñaki Peña in 2025. He conceded against Betis, conceded against Getafe, conceded when he came on, of course, and the Super Cup, where Szczesny has kept 2 clean sheets, and of course, you see that one little jammy Mbappe goal, which again, I think the record shows that Szczesny is the better goalkeeper, despite him being, you know, high in age, just coming out of retirement. He's done much better, I think, in those 2.5 games that he played. I think Iñaki Peña has done all season, if you compare. Yes, Iñaki Peña has some good games here and there, but I think the poor performances and the mid performances kind of overshadow his good performances, and the balances out Szczesny coming out on top, in my opinion, anyways. But we'll wait and see if things can change. But right now, it's clear Iñaki Peña for the league, and Szczesny will be playing in all the cups. Despite Pau Victor and Dani Olmo being temporarily registered right now in La Liga, of course, the saga does not And there, Esport 3 came out saying that La Liga is meant to take legal action to overturn the precautionary measure issued by the CSD if the registration of the two Barca players is upheld. Javier Tebas' organization could file another legal complaint through the same administrative process. So La Liga are going to fight the registration that was given by the course, of course, but on the Barcelona side, they're very, very confident that they will win because, again, like Laporta said in that press conference last week, they've done everything correctly. And again, there's even more evidence of that. According to multiple reports, the CSD says that Barcelona's documents to Regidani Olmo arrived on time on the 31st, but the documents were checked afterwards, which isn't the fault of the club, by the league. And again, Laporta did say this in his press conference last week. Also, La Liga asked Barcelona to justify the receipts of part of the payment of the VIP boxes on the 31st, while the official law states that this rule won't come into effect until February 2025. So again, he of course mentioned this, Laporta. He made it all very clear in that press conference that we're very, very much in a very good position. We're not going to lose this case. La Liga trying to finesse us, as they usually do, since everyone hates Barcelona. It's just the circle of life. Now, in regards to those VIP tickets and not boxes, should I say, the club have officially announced what they've done with these VIP boxes, saying that they have Barcelona, via the club's official website, has announced the sale of 475 VIP seats at the Spotify Camp Nou to two Middle Eastern investors for a maximum term of 30 years, generating significant revenue that will help the club comply with La Liga's special player regulation and provide a return on investment for Espai Barcelona investors ahead of schedule. So only 475 VIP seats were sold. I believe there's much more. That's only 5% of how much seats were there. Only for 30 years, the club can still use the seats, and those companies that the investors that bought them don't use them. We can still use them as well and then resell them again. So very, very favorable deal for Barcelona, an absolute masterclass yet again by Joan Laporta. Now, speaking about the Espai Barca project, we do have an update on that, and it's not that great. Barcelona have officially requested to stay longer at the Montijuic. When Deportivo came out saying that Barcelona requested an extension from BSM to use the Estadio Olympic de Montjuic until the end of April, extending their current contract beyond March 31st for an extra month. A key meeting this week could finalize the extension, with plans to return to Spotify Camp Nou by May. Barcelona are very optimistic about playing this season's final matches at the new Spotify Camp Nou, including El Clasico and a potential UCL semi-finals. Pretty much we're only gonna get like 5 or 6 games there. You're gonna have the whole month of May, which we'll have maybe 4 or 5 home games depending on where we're at. Semi-final of the Copa, I think, might be done by then, if I'm not mistaken. So of course El Clasico is May 11th, so definitely we'll be back before then. I thought we would be back there, of course, by the Champions League round 16, but looks like the club is not too keen on making that, which does suck. But again, we'll see how things turn out. But 100%, like I said from the beginning, the club will return to the Camp Nou at some point this season, and now it looks like we're targeting around April to May time. Now, the final topic that I want to discuss for the end of this video is in regards to a potential end-of-season friendly game. Now, Gabriel Sanz from Deportivo came out saying that Barcelona, through a Korean promotion agency, is looking for the possibility of playing a friendly match at the end of the season, although it will very much depend on the team's progress in the Champions League. It is said that the profit of this match will generate between 3 and 4 million euros. So if we need some extra cash and extra moolah, this team of course flops in the Champions League, they're gonna have to go and play an end-of-season friendly. Though of course we've seen a lot over the past few years. Last year, did we play somewhere last year? I don't think we did. I think the year before that, of course, with the Vissel Kobe in Japan to play against Iniesta. I don't think we played anywhere last year, if I'm not mistaken. Of course, played against Boca Junior, Club America in the past. So I mean, we're used to it at this point. But again, it's on the team. If they play well, they progress. They don't have to do it. And if they do, they got a flop. They're gonna get a punishment of playing an end-of-season friendly game. And the club are looking into this in the event we don't progress that far in the Champions League. So that was my reaction to the Barcelona news over the past few weeks. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, of course, make sure you drop a like down below, and of course in the comments down below as well, let me know your thoughts on everything we did discuss. The main thing I want first, of course, your thoughts on Rashford coming in this January transfer window. Would you do it or not? Secondly, the return of Lionel Messi, think that will happen or not? Thirdly, on those contract renewals, the big ones, of course, De Jong, Pedri, Gavi, and Araujo. You think all of them will renew, some of them, none of them? And finally, your thoughts on those sales in January. Would you sell both Ansu and Eric this summer, this January, should I say? One of them or neither of them? Maybe decide their futures in the summer. And of course, make sure you guys subscribe down below if you haven't already. And I will see you guys next time on the channel. Take care and Forza Barca.